Good evening, everyone. We are starting the next episode of Jigs TV Go News. There are some news from the international Go scene. First of all, the Ink Cup. I told you last week this is the most prestigious international tournament. It has a very big prize money and it takes place every fourth year. In the semifinals, Sieka managed to beat Ichiri Kiryo 2-0 and Shinjin So beat Zhao Chenyu also 2-0. And by the way, in the second game of Sieka versus Ichiriki, the final result was 3 points for Sieka. But if you count the score yourself, you will see that it is actually 2 points. But they are playing with the ing rules, and in the ing rules there is a very interesting feature that if you need additional time, you can buy it for points, for penalty points. So Ichiriki bought 20 minutes for 1 point, I believe, and then it didn't help him to turn the game. All right, and in the final, I don't know, it is not decided, I think, when the final will take place, but in the final we will see Sieka, and he is a new Chinese star. He is the first Chinese player born in the 21st century who reached the final of an international Go tournament, and also a few weeks ago he reached the final of the M. Lily Cup, so two finals of international tournaments. Let's see how he manages against Shinjin So. Of course, his opponent is very strong, but I heard that Sieka is playing really a lot online games. He played over 3,000 online games since he became pro. So now that the final is online of the tournament, maybe he has chances. Let's see. There are also the finals of the Chuanlan Cup. And wait, I was supposed to have a. I forgot about creating actually a slide about one of these games. There was a very interesting game of Shinjin So with Fan Yu. Shinjin So won, and he will face Tang Weixing. And in the other brackets, Lian Xiao will play Kejie. But in fact, I am not sure because I saw it written on one of the websites that there will be a re-lottery before the semifinals. So maybe they will actually not play as it is shown on the slide. In this tournament, all the rounds are being played on the internet. In this tournament, as in many international tournaments, there was also a participant from Europe, Ilya Shikshin, and from North America. It was Lalien. But they were eliminated in the first round. All right, so let's try to look at the position from Shinjin So versus Fan Yu, even though I don't have a slide for it, so it will be a bit unfortunate. Maybe I can go back like here so that it looks better. This was the position, and white is Shinjin So. You can see the black's dragon in the middle, and white can try to attack this dragon, so white attaches, but then black threatens that they cut. However, Shinjin So found a nice combination. Hane first, play a few moves inside the territory of black, and then just block. And now black doesn't dare to cut because this move is center for white. It threatens capturing the stones of black. So black just played on the outside, white connected, black connected, and white tried to make points on the lower side. However, this might be not enough for white if white is not trying to attack that group. So it seems that white had a better way of using that nice Tesuji. White found this Tesuji of Hane and the combination in black's territory, and now what AI is suggesting is this tiger's mouth. It creates a Miyai. Black needs to play in the territory, and then white wraps the group in the center, and now it will be very difficult for black to run. this might be a bad game for black. In the game, it was unclear, and after some time, Fantin Yu was trying this cut, which can lead to big problems for white. The group of white is cut, so white is trying to manage the situation. However, white forgot about this exchange, and without this exchange, suddenly there is some stuff in white's territory. I am not sure if you can notice it that fast. Black can start with a peep, and then at first it might seem nothing works, because Atari and cut, and then white takes the two stones. And when we look at how the game went, we can see that white actually has some problem with the whole group on the top. There was a capturing race between a group of white and a group of black, and in the end, thanks to this interesting move of white, black cannot approach the group of white. If now black takes the liberties of the three stones, you can see that actually white is winning the black could of course connect now, but still white is winning by one liberty. White is not affected. However, in fact, Fantin Yu lost his chance here. He missed a Tesuji. He could start from the peep, and if white now plays somewhere in the center, then of course the group gets cut, and it is very risky for white. It's a call for life of that group. However, white cannot connect, because now there is no shortage of liberties problem, because black is just taking the liberties from the right, and then white would die. So this would be a loss of Shinjin So. But Fantin Yu didn't see it, and in the end, Shinjin So won the game. All right, let's go back to the slides. Let's go back to the slides. Here we will have the semifinals. I think not decided yet when exactly the semifinals will be. And another interesting event happening this week and the upcoming week is an event match sponsored by Nongshim Cup. It was already announced 2 months ago, so maybe you remember. It is an event for 6 Nongshim Cup stars. So 2 players from China, 2 from South Korea, 2 from Japan, and these players were doing very good in editions of Nongshim Cup already many years ago. Here you can see 2 Korean players, Cho Hun-hyun and Lee Chang-ho. Here you can see the players from Japan. It is Yoda Norimoto and Kobayashi Koichi. And in this tournament, every player will play from all the players from the 2 different countries. Up to now, half of the rounds were played. The next round will be played from Friday till Sunday. And up to now, Cho Hun-hyun is doing really well. Even though he is already 67 years old, he managed to beat Chang Hao and Yoda Norimoto. Let's see how the next games go in a few days. In the meantime, in Japan, there is the Kisei title match. And Kisei is the most important Japanese title. So the match is played in a formula best of 7. And this time, the challenger is Konorin. Konorin played the first game versus Yamayuta in Tokyo. The next games will take place in different spots, different towns of Japan. And in this game, Yamayuta managed to win. So let's look at that game. This is best of 7, so Yamayuta still has a lot of games to win if he wants to defend the title. The game started with a nice opening, the micro-Chinese opening, so-called, and after a few moves, white attached here. This is a new way of approaching this formation of black. And then there was an a sequence which I saw for the first time, very interesting. White played came up, black cut directly, and then white plays a very nice, very flexible move. So many players would just sacrifice the stones, or maybe try to live with the stones, but then it would be so difficult. There is such a narrow space here. However, white attaches, very flexible. Black needs to take the stones, and then white has more power against the stones of black on the right. Then white was managing the shape, and it seemed that all right, they finished the local fight, but afterwards black tried this move, trying to threaten the group of white. And what to do with white? If white just blocks, black will cut. But Yamayuta once again shows that his style is very flexible, and he just plays elsewhere, because in fact he doesn't need to care that much about these two stones. He just cares about that group, but that group cannot be attacked so successfully, so powerfully. Later on, black started the attack, but white was just escaping. The next fight of this game started with black's invasion around here. It looked pretty difficult for white when black was attacking white's group on the top, and black managed to capture the 4 stones. However, white got some influence which helped white to attack the group on the left very, very severely. All right, so black had some trouble with fixing the shape, but in the end black managed to run out. However, white was all the time trying to utilize somehow the central influence. And how did the game go? Later, white found a... where was it? White found a way to cut off the stones of black, and after a few moves it became a ko for this big group of black. The ko is also a bit heavy for white, but white had some ko threats, and in the end white managed to capture the group of black on the left for the price of that little group on the upper side. And at that point the game already looks promising for white. Afterwards, I think the difference was not big. It was a few points difference. There were still some interesting swaps in the end game, but Konorin was just not enough, and Iyama won. Very interesting game, very nice play by Iyama. Another news from Japan is a nice record by Takemiya Masaki. I think many of the viewers know Takemiya. He is a senior player. He turned 70 on the 1st of January. And before, he was winning the titles of Honimbo, of Judan, and of Meijin. A very strong player. He is well known for his cosmic style, so he always tried to play for the influence, for the center of the board, making a huge box and then inviting the opponent to go in. And then sometimes when opponent went in, he was even able to kill the group. So he was called the 9-dan killer, like the killer of 9 dans, I think. This is his nickname. Anyway, he has just won his game number 1200, and this achievement was managed by 9 pros before him. So he is the 10th one. In his Go career, he won 1200 games. He lost 764, and 2 times he had a draw, a Jigo, before it was possible in the Japanese tournament Go, in the tournament called Oteai, the Dan promotion tournament. There was a possibility of a draw result. Another thing happening in Japan is the Challenger Decision Tournament of Judan. So, as you know, all these 7 major titles, they have the system that there is a player holding the title, and then one player will challenge him to try to get the title from him. But to choose that player, a tournament needs to be played. And this time, in the Challenger Decision Tournament, the final will be played between Xu Jiayang and Yu Zhengqi, or alternatively Kyokagen and Yoseki. So Kyokagen and Yoseki are the Japanese versions of the names of these two players, because both of these players are born in Taiwan. They are Taiwanese, but they became pro, they studied and they became professional in Japan. The title is held by Shibano Toramaru, and we will see which of the two players will challenge him. By the way, in the semi-final Hyokagen versus Chou, both of the players are from Nihon Ki-in. But in the other semi-final, it was Murakawa Daisuke versus Yoseki or Yu Zhengqi, and these are players from Kansai Ki-in. So there are two professional organizations in Japan. And for many years, the organization Nihon Ki-in, with the headquarters in Tokyo, was the leading one. It had the stronger players, and also the branch of Tokyo was stronger than the other branches. So all the strongest players in Japan were living in Tokyo, studying in Tokyo, playing in Tokyo. But now there are also players from other regions of Japan. I believe mainly Osaka. But yeah, for example, Yamayuta is from there, I believe, not from Tokyo. And yeah, and we can see also players not from Tokyo competing for the titles. So that's nice. News from Korea about the official stuff about the Korean Amateur Baduk Federation. It has a new president who is a goalover and also a main sponsor of the Daegu national team. You remember that there was this amateur national Baduk league where the Daegu team managed to win the first place, the team which we can know from the European Go Congresses because they were guests, and the sponsor of them became the president. That's also interesting that in Korea there is a Korean Baduk Federation and Korean Amateur Baduk Federation. These are separate, not the same thing. There are things happening in Europe these days because most importantly there is the European Grand Prix final happening, and already many of the games from the group stage were played, but not all. In the group A, Ilya Shikshin managed to win all the games. It is not shown yet because he has finished the game with Nikola Mitic 7 minutes before the start of the show. So Ilya is the first. For the second place, I will play with Anton tomorrow. You can see the game on the OGS Go server. I faced Anton in the European Championship in the 1/8 of the final, and that time Anton beat me. So let's see how it goes tomorrow. In Group B, this is a group of death. There are 4 professionals, and nothing is clear yet. You can see that. Although Artem has 2 wins and Tongi has 2 losses, so far nothing is decided because Tongi still can reach the final stage if he manages to beat Palko. And also, it's not clear if Artem will manage, because if he loses to Sasha, then there is a possibility of a circle, right? It is possible that there will be 3 players with 2 wins, and then they will need to play another matches, blitz matches, for deciding who will go out of the group. And also it's possible that Artem wins, Sasha loses, and then Tongi wins, and then there will be 3 players with 1 win. So no one can be sure of their position yet. There is also a group of life, maybe we can call, if that was a group of death, the group of life, the group with 4 amateur players, but of course the top amateur players, so the competition was super harsh, and you can see that each of the players managed to win at least 1 game, and in the end Łukasz Podpera goes out of the group from the first place, and Oscar Vasquez, the youngest player in this tournament, goes out on the second place. Yesterday, the game of Oscar and Benjamin was, I think it was maybe the most exciting game of this tournament so far. There were many swaps, swings, and yeah, it's really interesting to watch. And in the end, I think the result was 1.5 for Oscar. So very close, or 3.5. I am not sure. In group number 4, for sure, Andriy Kraviec took the first place. Even if he loses to Jan Shimara, he will have the first place. And Victor Lin will play Ali Jabarin to decide who will go out of the group. So we can already fill the brackets of the European Grand Prix final, but only a bit, because not all the finalists are known so far. Except for the European Grand Prix final, there was the next round, the fourth round of the team championship, sponsored by PandaNet and played on PandaNet Go server. This round was very interesting because there were 2 matches between teams which reached top 4 last year. So Ukraine beat France, the winner of the last year's edition, and Russia beat Czechia. You can see that right now Poland is in the top 4, and Romania, but Romania, Israel, Czechia, and France have the same number of points. But it's still many things will happen because there are 5 more rounds, and we will see how will the final results be. Meanwhile, there was also the third round of the European Youth Go Team Championship, and if I looked correctly, so far the teams of Russia and Czechia are unbeaten. So I believe they will play in the final 4th round, and we will see which is the strongest youth team in Europe. That's it about the news. Let's move to the interview section. This time we have one interview with Dominique Cornejols from Grenoble, and she will tell us about a lot of Go activities she is managing.
Hello everybody, today we are talking to Dominique Cornejols, and probably you have seen her before because she is in the Go scene very well known. She is active everywhere, she's on each EGC and at all the tournaments I could remember of. So you know her probably, and maybe you can introduce yourself a little bit. So how long are you playing Go and how strong are you?
I have been playing for more than 40 years now.
40 years, oh my God, that's amazing. How many people can say 40 years?
I sometimes can meet old people, older than me even.
And how strong are you?
I am 1 dan. I have been 2 dan at my best, but I've been 1 dan for a long time, yes.
So actually today we wanted to talk about the Grenoble Go Club. So the Grenoble Go Club is the biggest in France, and Dominique is leading the Go Club for several years. And you have a lot of projects and what you do and so on. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes. So we are the largest club in number. So we have about 120 members, and many of them are youth. So we are doing special activities with the young. So we have the Go School, Youth Go School. We also have a Go School for adults. But for the young ones, we have a very active Go School with very good teachers. Maybe you know some of them. In Seong, Wang. We also have Denis Labouret, who is... Florent Labouret, sorry. Who is 5 dan, and Camille is also a teacher in the school, and I take the beginners.
But I think it's even more. The current French champion, Denis, he also comes from Grenoble, and also the female champion of last year, Ariane, she's also from Grenoble, right?
Yes. So they are also teaching, but more the adults.
You also go to Go schools. to the schools. Not only they come to your Go School, but you go to the schools and teach there, right?
Yes, actually, we teach the animators, the people who are taking care of the kids during extrascholar activities, and we are going also to help them for the Go workshops, and it's about 20 schools in Grenoble.
Yes, and then you have a lot of projects locally, but also internationally. So one is the current, like the Longchamp Cup, where we have a team game from France against, or Grenoble Go Club against Jigs at the moment for beginners, which is pretty cool. But not only this, also for normal Go players, you are organizing one of the biggest tournaments in the year, yeah? So may you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, we started with this international Go tournament, which is called Tigre. We started it in 2017 at the moment
it's known as Elite Cup, right?
Yes, Tigre Elite Cup, yes. And so we have done it 3 times. Last time was last year in 2020. We had almost 160 participants. We were quite happy. And it was connected with a Go and Ski camp, winter camp, close to Grenoble. So about 70 participants to this ski camp.
You combine that always. But this year it cannot happen due to Corona, right?
Unfortunately, we had to cancel it this year, but we are already preparing the one of next year.
Yeah, I think it will be a lot of fun. And actually, I heard first time about all this fun from somebody from Canada, and then next time from America. So actually, this is really international. People go there to really enjoy, play Go, and also ski.
Yes.
And that is really fantastic. And I'm really happy to see this is growing and people really enjoy this way of playing and learning Go. This is super cool. Yes, so I think it won't be the last project of Dominique. She's full of ideas and so creative. So I guess we will talk to you again in the future.
Yes.
Thank you very much for the interview today. And the most important part of the interview is probably if you are at home and you would like to see your Go City being growing and you would like to start some projects, then Dominique actually is willing to help you with her experience. And maybe this is also good for you.
Yes, I will be happy to answer your questions. Thank you to you.
Thank you very much, Dominique, and see you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Dominique, for the interview and for doing so much good to the Go community. I hope one day I will also have a chance to visit Grenoble, hopefully for the Tigre International Tournament. We move to the Tsumego section. And this week, I think the double-digit Q Tsumegos were not easy, but still many of you solved them. We have two new winners of the Tsumego competition in the single-digit Q category, which is Rene Scheiber and Annika Wille. Congratulations. And I think the third problem is really tricky because, like, you need to find the correct order of moves. Some players put the other order of moves, and this didn't work. And here are the solutions to the done problems and the new problems. Please send me your solutions until next Sunday. When you get 75 points, you will get a prize. And we have a special Go piece of the week, which is about a new manga. There will be a new manga about Pergo. It's called Gumbu no Pergo. Pergo, a group dance. This will start appearing in a magazine Gekkan Action from 25th of January. The author of this manga, Takagi Yuna, can be known from another manga, Attack on Titan, or Shingeki no Kyojin. She worked for that one as an assistant. And this one is about Pergo, so of course it needs to have a supervisor from the Go part, and this will be Fujisawa Rina. She is very actively helping. According to the author, to Takagi Yuna, this manga will be an explosive, warm love comedy with never give up sportive spirit. So interesting. All right, this is it for this week. See you next Monday. Next Monday we will already know all the finalists of the European Grand Prix final and also the results of the quarterfinals. So many games are to be watched this week on OGS Go server. And also Nongshim event. So yeah, please watch Go games this week and see you next Monday. Bye bye.